Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Um, Feel free to unmute or call out if you can't hear me or need me to explain something to you, but I know you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. So, why don't we get started in a comfortable shape? So you can either lay flat on your back, a comfortable seat. We'll just spend the first 5 minutes of class, however you choose, and then we'll get moving. So if you're sitting up nice and tall, I would suggest sitting on the edge of a block, a blanket, or a bolster. If anybody wants any props, I can bring them to you throughout class if you need it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle. I'm subbing for Jen. And if you're sitting up nice and tall, you can just take your shoulders, roll them up your ears, down your back, and keep your palms face up or face down. Keep your eyes open or closed, your choice. And keeping your lips together, you can inhale and exhale out your nose. So if you're laying in heart bench, you can just make your way up to a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, we're just gonna bring our chin down to our chest, feeling that stretch in the back of the neck. Then we're gonna roll our right ear towards our right shoulder. Our chin back to our chest. Left ear towards left shoulder. And then chin back to chest. And right ear towards right shoulder. Chin back to chest. And left ear towards left shoulder. Chin back to chest. Right ear to right shoulder. This time we're going to stay here. Option to take that right hand. Maybe you're applying a little bit of weight on that head for a deeper stretch on that left side. Removing that right hand, bringing the chin back to the chest, the left ear over to that left shoulder. Option to take that left hand and gently place it on that. Removing that hand, chin back to the chest. And then inhaling, head up. We're gonna bring our hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky for a seated upward salute. As we exhale, we're gonna take a gentle twist to the right side. Then inhaling your hands back to center overhead. And then taking your twist to the other side. Inhaling hands overhead, bringing that right hand or that right forearm to the side, leaning over to that right side. This left shoulder wants to stick out. We want to work on drawing it back to the ear. Keep an active hand, either spread your fingers nice and wide or glue them together. And this left hip kind of wants to pop up a little bit. We want to work on pressing that to the middle. And then inhaling back to center, and then coming over to the other side. And coming back to center. And bringing hands to heart. We'll meet in tabletop pose. If anybody needs a blanket for underneath their knees, I can bring you one. Making sure your knees are underneath your hips, your wrists are underneath your shoulders. You can take up rounds of cat and cow, moving at your own pace and at your own breath. Feel free to add any wrist stretches. You can take your fingertips and move them to the outer edges of the mat or maybe towards your knees. You can make circles with your hips in one direction. Make any movements here that feel good to you. And then if your fingertips are facing your knees or the side, just face them so they're facing forward. We're gonna inhale that right arm all the way up to the sky, feeling that stretch. As we exhale, we're gonna thread the needle, bringing it behind the left, placing your shoulder down, then your head. You can keep this left hand where it is. You could walk to the top, over to the left corner, or you could bend that elbow. Maybe you're reaching for the top of that thigh. If you have any other leg variations by extending one leg either behind you or out to the side, feel free. And if your leg is straight, you can slowly bend your knee, inhaling that arm all the way up to the sky, or walk it back in, pressing into that left hand, feeling that right arm all the way back up before coming back to tabletop. Then we're gonna inhale that left arm all the way up to the sky, and as we exhale, threading the needle, bringing it behind the right, placing your shoulder down, and then our head. Keep this right hand where it is. Walk it to the top left corner, bend that elbow, place it on your back, reaching for that thigh, or you can extend that leg if you choose. And if that leg is straight, you can slowly rebend that knee, inhaling that right arm all the way up or walking it back in, pressing into that right hand, feeling that left arm all the way up to the sky before coming back to tabletop. We're gonna extend that right leg behind us, toes towards the ground. We're just rocking back and forth for a very gentle stretch in the hamstring, pressing back through the heel. Then we're gonna lift that right foot, toes pointing down. This right hip wants to pop up a little bit. We wanna work on squaring those hips. Inhaling, lifting up through the chest. Option one is to stay here. Option two, we're gonna lift that left arm in the sky. The arm is lifted. You wanna try to get your wrist in line with that shoulder. Option to stay here, working on your balance. We're going to add a little core work today. We're gonna round our back, tap our elbow to knee, and extend. 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 Placing that left hand to the mat, peeling that right arm up, coming into a modified side plank. Option to stay here, or you can move that foot out more of a kickstand. Maybe take that right hand or arm, bring it over that ear. We can keep this right leg on the mat, or option to lift that up. Option to stay here, or we're gonna tap that elbow to knee and extend. 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 One more time, elbow to knee and extend. Placing that hand and that knee back onto the mat. Then we'll extend that left foot behind us, toes towards the ground, rocking back and forth. Then lifting that left foot, squaring those hips, inhaling, lifting up through the chest. Option one is staying here. Option two, lifting that right hand in the air, trying to keep that wrist in line with that shoulder. Option to stay here. Or rounding your back, tapping your elbow to knee, and extend. 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 One more time, elbow to knee, and extend. Placing that hand and that foot back, inhaling that left arm up, coming into a modified side plank. You can bring the hand over the ear, option to lift that left foot in the air. Option to stay here, or you can tap your elbow to knee and extend. 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 One more time, elbow to knee and extend. Placing that hand and that knee back onto the mat, taking your child's pose. Big toes touch, sit on your heels, walk your hands to the top of the mat. This is your resting pose. You can take it anytime throughout class. You need a break. Your knees are close together. This is a resting pose. Or if your knees are closer together, it stretches your lower back. Your knees as wide as the mat. This becomes a hip opener. You can take this anytime throughout class. You need a break. You can stay here as long as you need. But whenever you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Bicycle at your legs, shake your hips from side to side. Make any movements you need to here. And then you can find some stillness in your down dog. We're gonna start class with 3 sun A's and 1 sun B. We're looking at the top of the mat, the space in between your hands, stepping, walking, or hopping, feet meeting your hands. We're gonna inhale, lengthen to a flat back, fingertips in the mat, or hands to your shins, finding that little extra length in that spine. Or exhaling, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky, upward salute. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms all the way up. Exhaling, hinging from the hips, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat. You can step back, hop back, lower down if you choose, and we'll meet in down dog. We're gonna do 2 more. Feel free to move with your own breath. If you're a couple of steps ahead or behind me, that's okay. Looking at the top of the mat, the space in between your hands, stepping, walking, or hopping, feet meeting your hands. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky, upward salute. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms all the way up. Exhaling, hinging from the hips, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping back, walking back, or hopping back. Whatever you need to do here to get you back to down dog. Looking at the top of the mat, the space in between your hands, stepping, walking, or hopping, feet meeting your hands. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky, upward salute. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hinging from the hips, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping back, hopping back, lowering down if you choose, down dog. So notice for B, looking at the top of the mat, space in between your hands, stepping, walking, or hopping, feet meeting your hands. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky, upward salute. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Taking your awkward chair, Utkatasana. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhaling, arms up, bending those knees, Utkatasana. Send your weight back to your heels. It helps if you lift your toes. Deep inhale in. As you exhale, straightening those legs, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping back, hopping back, lowering down if you choose, down dog. We're gonna take that right foot, replace it with that right hand, ground down that back heel, 45-degree angle, keeping those hips square. Inhaling up to your warrior 1. On your next exhale, hands frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. Left foot replaces left hand, ground down that back heel, inhaling up to your warrior 1. On your next exhale, hands frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. Looking at the top of the mat, space in between your hands, stepping, walking, or hopping, feet meeting your hands. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, bending those knees, inhaling up. Straighten those legs, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms all the way up to the sky, upward salute. Exhaling, hinging from the hips, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping back, hopping back, lowering down if you choose, down dog. So I'm gonna give you some choices here. You can take a child's pose and rest, or if you want to add a little core work to your practice, we could shift forward to plank. We're pressing back through the heels. Our butt is not too high or too low. We're pressing our fingertips into that mat. If you need to, you can drop your knees down at any point and take a modified plank. And we're breathing here. And we're gonna lower down onto our right forearm and then our left forearm. And then we're gonna come up onto our right hand and then our left hand. And then lowering down to our left forearm and then our right forearm. And then coming up onto our left hand, and then our right hand. And then send your hips up and back or down. We're gonna inhale that right leg all the way up to ceiling, down dog. Rounding your back, we're gonna bring out that knee to our chin, our chest, or our nose. And back. 2 more times, bring that knee to your chin, your chest, and your nose. And back. Knee to chin, chest, or nose. And back. And then we're gonna take that foot, place it in between those hands. We're gonna lower that back knee, setting up for a low lunge. Pressing the tops of the foot or tops of the foot into mat. Options here, you can keep your hands on the mat, hands on blocks. You can bring your hands to your thigh, or you can inhale your arms all the way up to the sky. Keep inhaling. Exhaling, hands frame that front foot, coming into a runner's lunge. We're gonna straighten that front leg, rolling onto that front heel. You wanna keep active toes, so either point them towards your face or towards the ceiling. If you need blocks, you could place your hands on blocks on either side of that leg. And very, very slowly taking your time, you're gonna bend that front knee, hands frame that front foot, pressing into that left hand, inhaling, right arm up to the sky, coming to a twist. Option to keep this hand in the air, or you could reach for those doors, or you could bend that back knee, reaching for that foot. Onto that foot, slowly release. Hands frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lower down if you choose, down dog. Then inhaling that left leg to the ceiling for down dog split. Rounding your back, bring that knee to your chin, your chest, your nose. And back. Rounding your back, bring that knee to your chin, your chest, your nose. And back. Bring that knee to your chin, chest, or nose. And back. Then we're gonna take that foot, place it in between those hands. Dropping that back knee, setting up for your low lunge. Hands on either side of the foot, your thigh, or inhaling your arms up. Deep inhale in. Exhaling, hands frame that front foot, straightening that front leg, rolling on that heel, coming into your runner's lunge. Very, very slowly, bending that front knee, hands frame that front foot, pressing into that right hand, inhaling left arm up, healing or twisting to the left. You can keep this left hand in the air, or maybe reach for those doors, or you could bend that knee, reaching for that foot.
You want to help you? You're so close. Like the other side is easier.
And if you're holding on to that foot, slowly release, hands frame that foot, stepping back to plank, lower down if you choose, down dog. Choices here, you could stay in down dog, you could rest in your child's pose, or we could shift forward back to our plank pose. Pressing back through those heels. This time we're gonna take a side plank on the left side, so inhaling right arm up in the air. You can take any leg variations you choose here. Then right hand to the mat, coming back to plank. And then rolling right over to that right side, inhaling left arm up, taking your side plank on the other side. Left hand to the mat, coming back to plank. You can send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg to the ceiling, down dog split. We're gonna bring that right knee to that right elbow and back. Rounding our back, we're gonna bring that knee to our chin, our chest, or our nose. And back. Now we're gonna bring that right knee across our body to your left elbow. Option to stay here. You can extend that right leg, inhaling left arm up, coming into your fallen star. Then left hand to the mat, lifting that right leg, coming back to your down dog split. You're gonna take that right foot, place it in between those hands, inhaling up to your high lunge. Keep that back heel lifted, hip square. You need to take a wider stance. Deep inhale in. Exhaling, taking a twist of your choice to the right. You can either open your arms out to a T, or you can bring your hands to heart center, left elbow on that right knee. Or you can bring your hands up, keep your hands up prayer, however you choose. Then inhaling your hands back to center overhead. We're gonna ground down that back heel parallel to the back of the mat, opening up to our warrior two. Make adjustments where you need to. You should have heel to heel alignment or heel to arch alignment, depending on what's more comfortable for you. We're gonna reach all the way forward, feeling back in stretch in the back side, coming into extended side angle. We're gonna bring that right hand on top of that. We're gonna bring that left hand over that ear, keep it active. Then inhaling back up to warrior two. Coming into our peaceful warrior, reach all the way forward, feeling a stretch in that back side, put that front palm, inhaling up to peaceful warrior. And on your next exhale, you can just wheel those hands to frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. Then we'll inhale that left leg to the ceiling, down dog split. Bring that left knee to that left elbow. And back. Rounding your back, bring that knee to your chin, your chest, or your nose. And back. Left knee across your body to your right elbow. Option to straighten that front leg. Inhaling, right arm up, coming into a fallen star. And then right hand to the mat, coming back to your down dog split, taking that left foot, place it in between those hands, inhaling up to your high lunge. Deep inhale in. As you exhale, take a twist of your choice to the left. Then inhaling your hands back to center overhead. And as you exhale, grounding down that back heel, opening up to your warrior two. We're going to reach all the way forward, feeling a stretch, coming into extended side angle, hand on that thigh or on the inside of that Then inhaling back up, warrior two, and then lifting that left arm up, coming into your peaceful warrior. And then cartwheeling those hands to frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. Options here, you can rest or shift forward to your plank pose. Press back through your heels, pressing your fingertips into the mat. And we're just gonna breathe here. And then send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg to the ceiling, down dog split. We're gonna open that hip, bending that knee, that right foot is keeping that left butt cheek. Option to stay here, or you can flip that dog. Then making your way back to down dog split. Taking that foot, place it in between those hands, inhaling up to your high lunge. And then as you exhale, take a twist of your choice to the right. And inhaling your hands back to center overhead. We're gonna press into that right foot, bringing that left knee into the chest, coming into a standing balance. So option here, you can stay holding the knee into your chest. You can take a yogi toe lock. If you'd like to come into tree, you can take tree. If you have half lotus in your practice and would like to work on half lotus, feel free. So whatever standing balance you choose to take, try to find a spot in the room that's not moving. If you need to, you can always step off your mat and go closer to the wall. Now we're just gonna bring that right knee into the chest, or that left knee into the chest. Try to hug it in using your core muscles. You can bring your hands to heart center if you choose. We're gonna extend it behind us coming back or coming to a warrior three. This left hip kind of wants to pop up. Work on squaring those hips. And then very, very slowly taking your time, we're gonna lower that leg, coming back to our high lunge. And then we're gonna ground down that back heel, opening up to warrior two. Somehow you switch speed. It happens. And then we're gonna reach all the way forward, feeling a stretch in that backside, coming into our extended side angle. You can take a bind, half a bind, birds of paradise here. That looks so graceful though. And then making your way back to extended side angle, inhaling up, back to coming to warrior two. Inhaling that right arm up, coming into your peaceful warrior. Straightening that front leg, we're gonna set up our triangle pose. You bring your arms out to a T, reaching all the way forward, feeling a stretch in that back side. That hand maybe falls on the inside or the outside. If you have a half a bind here, or maybe even a full bind. If you wanna work on, or if you wanna do half moon, option for half moon here. And then making your way back to your triangle pose. And then back to warrior two, bending that front knee. Cartwheeling those hands to frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. Inhaling, left leg to the ceiling, down dog split. Bending that knee, opening up that hip. Option to stay here, or you could flip that dog. Then coming back to down dog split, whenever you are ready, left foot in between those hands, inhaling up to your high lunge. And then as you exhale, take a twist of your choice to the left. And inhaling your hands back to center overhead. Pressing into that left foot, we're gonna bring that right knee into the chest. Option to stay here, or you can take any balance on the side that you did on the other, yogi toe lock, lotus pose, tree pose. And then we're gonna bring that right knee into the chest. See if you can hug it in as close as it can go. And very, very slowly taking your time, extending it behind you, coming into warrior three. Squaring those hips to the ground, pointing those toes. Then lowering that back leg, inhaling your arms up back to your high lunge. And as you exhale, opening up to warrior two. Reaching all the way forward, feeling a stretch in that backside, coming into your extended side angle of your choice. Feel free to take a bind, half a bind, birds of paradise, whatever you did on the other side, try it on the side. And then releasing your bind if you have one. Inhaling back up to your warrior two. And then inhaling left arm to the sky, peaceful warrior. Straightening that front leg, setting up for your triangle pose. Did a half bind, full bind, maybe half moon. And then taking your time, making your way back to your triangle pose. Inhaling back up, warrior two, bending that front knee. Cartwheeling those hands to frame that front foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down if you choose, down dog. We're gonna hop to Malasana. So if you can, hop your feet to either side of your hands, or if you need to walk to the top of the mat before you lower down. However you get here is completely fine. If Malasana is uncomfortable for you, you can just take Padappanasana, soles of the feet, knees spread wide. So we do have a few minutes to play around. So options, you can stay in your Malasana. You can work on crow, side crow. We did a little twisting. If you want to work on handstands, headstands, if you want to bring your mat to the wall, you could do that too. If you just want to hang out in Malasana, you could do that also. For 30 minutes. So whatever you choose to do, if you'd like to do legs up the wall. Anybody needs help with whatever they're working on. Just don't lift your head up so much. So they say to look up, not down, but you want to keep your forehead like parallel to the floor. So you're like, we're looking up like this. So you kind of want to like forehead parallel, but your eyes just want to look up. Okay. So you were going up like this. So you want to keep, that makes a difference.
Yeah. But I did it more parallel.
Yeah, so your head is a little, so your forehead or your head looks like you're looking up. So if you just run, it's not like they say look up, but it's not really like if your neck, you want to keep your neck look straight, so you don't want to turn your neck. Put your fingertips into that. Spread them a little wider. How does it feel when the ring's on? Because I can't do it with the rings on.
I have no trouble staying in.
See, I first learned, which people say is cheating, where you take your like your knees and like squeezing them in. And you just practice like building strength that way. And then it takes time to get your knees towards your armpits. And then you just like one foot from here. You can also put a bolster right in the face. That helps from falling. Some people also like, this makes you nervous, but when you rest your head on the block. But I feel like I'm like, fall. Maybe like a bolster too makes me feel more comfortable, so I'm not gonna like.
It's been a good playlist.
No, thank
I
you.
like dancing.
This is like one of my old, I
It's a good one.
was working on a playlist last
So
night.
you were like, welcome to my house. They used to always dance to that in my car for the kids. Or like teaching when they return the kids, like, they were so bad. I'm like, welcome to my house.
Yeah.
I live a little day.
Yeah, this is like an old playlist too. And I had I was working on it one last night because I was like, oh, I need to make a new playlist. I haven't made one in a while. So exhausted, 11:30 at night. Why am I making a playlist in bed? I don't know. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I put my phone down. And then during my professional development today, I was like trying to do it, and I somehow deleted the playlist.
Oh, no.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just using an old
An
playlist.
old little beauty. Yeah.
I was like, it's still on my phone for a reason, so it must be a good one. Because sometimes I make them, I'm like, nope, this really didn't work out too well. You don't realize like how much effort goes into a playlist.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, bye.
I'll be back next week.
Okay. You're welcome. Alright, so
I think about crow. I don't learn it.
I did this.
It's crow, because I was just thinking, I just know like with headstand, the big thing is like doing it one side at a time. You know what I mean, like tripod, can you do tripod?
No.
But that, like, I feel like with you, like, I'm not a teacher, but I've been doing this a long time, like, that's like what takes the most patience, is like going slow with it. But like, what if you go slow, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, you know what I mean, like, with like tripod, it's like you have to be able to do that egg.
Yeah.
See, you have to be able to like,
It's crowing.
Yeah.
balance like this, and then like,
see, and for
you're
some,
okay.
yeah.
You're okay, but you like, you have to stay like this for a while before you even try to do anything.
But it's the
Is that
same
what it is?
arms, it's the same, yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
like
same
people try and
arms
like go up too fast and they like tumble.
as like crows.
I guess crow you could do one arm, right?
I did my toes on the block the first time,
Yeah.
like this one. So that
It's just really
easier
like
to-
hanging out, like even in this position. Even though you don't feel like it's productive.
Yeah, like
I feel
even
like
if-
it is.
Like even if you're
Yeah.
standing on a block and if you just lean forward like this, you're building strength in your arms.
And like you lift one foot,
And that kind of like helps you build like that shelf.
yeah,
And then you can slowly lift up.
yeah.
I mean, you really just have to like practice and then like one day you just get it. Like it's just so weird. It's like one day they were like, oh, I'm a crow.
Yep. It's always when you feel like you're gonna fall forward. That's when you're really
Yeah.
full of it.
And then also too, once you get like that bad fall, your fear is like, I fell once and I like fell on my cheek and I had a bruise. It's
I
really
think
bad.
I was more like the nervous, like I really never fell, cause I don't think I ever went for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Not that
then-
that's good, I'm just saying, that's kind of how I was. I've done a couple of flops, like in forearm and handstand, but I don't know. Everybody's different.
I'm always scared to put my heel through the wall.
Oh, we will kick, we used to kick so hard up against these walls.
Alright, so why don't we we'll end in a mountain pose and then we'll do one last sun salutation and we'll come to pigeon and we'll start to cool down. So just make sure your feet are parallel. You take your shoulders, roll them up your ears, down your back, pinkies in, thumbs out. You can close your eyes. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Deep inhale in. Exhale out. 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 Bring your hands to heart center. You want to lead us into sun salutation? That was in between you on the spot. Inhaling, arms all the way up.
Next week.
Exhaling, hinging from the hips, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening to your flat back to prepare. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping back, hopping back, lowering down if you choose, and we'll lean in down dog. Inhaling that right leg to the ceiling, down dog split. Coming into your pigeon pose, we're gonna take that right knee inside of that right wrist. If you prefer to take recline pigeon on your back, feel free. If anybody needs any props, blankets or anything, wake me over, I can bring them to you. And very, very slowly taking your time, you can walk your hands back in, tucking that back toe, lifting the back knee, coming back to downward facing dog. Make any movements you need to here before you take pigeon on your other side.
Relationships, I don't know why they never work out. Make you cry, God says goodbye, satisfied. But I've been down and out, yeah, I've been feeling sorry for myself. Don't hesitate to lose my confidence. Well, I've been lost and I need direction, and I need protection. What do you say, honey? Come to my friend. Stand up for you, it's what you need, and I can take a punch, I don't mind the beat. As long as afterwards you get back to me. Could you give me all of your attention? I got things like touching, and I think that's pretty plain for you to see. Well, enough about me, more about you, things that you don't think. I hope you like your man, sweet life. Telling you that I ain't good. Halfway through, I got a few more things I got to say. Too late. I don't need to change the thing about you, babe. I'm telling you where I sit, you're one of a kind. Relationships, I don't know why they never work out. They make you cry, gotta take the body, gotta smile.
And then very, very slowly walking your hands back in, tucking that back toe, lifting that back knee. Make any movements you need to. If you want to lower down, one last chaturanga, feel free. And taking your time, however you choose, we're going to make our way onto our backs. And once you're there, you can hug both knees into your chest, rocking side to side, back and forth if that feels good to you. Now we can open our arms out to a T and let our knees fall over to the right side, coming into a spiral twist. And then coming back to center and letting your knees fall to the other side. And bringing your knees back to center, hugging them into your chest. Option to come into a happy baby here. By bringing the soles of the feet towards the ceiling, your arms are on the inside, you're grabbing the pinky side toe of that foot. And then bring your knees back into your chest, giving yourself one last hug. Then bringing soles of the feet, knees spread wide, coming into reclined body konasana. So this is the last pose I offer. You do have some time if you'd like to take any other cooling postures, a shoulder stand, fish, bridge, wheel, another recline twist, recline pigeon. Feel free. If you'd like to take a longer shavasana, you can keep your legs like this or extend them down the mat whenever you're ready. If anybody would like a bolster for underneath your knees, I can bring you a bolster, just wave. Very, very slowly, you can start inviting gentle movements back into your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes and shaking your head side to side. You can bring your arms overhead and stretch from the tip of your fingers, the tip of your toes, like you just woke up in the morning. And bringing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug. Rocking side to side, back and forth. Taking your time, you can make your way up however you choose, coming into a comfortable seat. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands to heart center once you get there. We're going to inhale our hands all the way up to the ceiling. Or seated upward salute. And as you exhale, take a gentle twist to one side, whatever side you choose. Then inhaling your hands back to center overhead. And taking your twist to the other side. Inhaling your hands overhead, bringing your palms to touch. We're going to lower our hands to the third eye, the space in between our eyebrows, and this is a reminder of practicing happy thoughts. Deep inhale through your nose, releasing exhale out your mouth. And lower your hands to your lips, and this is a reminder of practicing kind words. Deep inhale in, exhale out. Then lower your hands back to your heart center, and this is a reminder of practicing good intentions. Deep inhale in, exhale out. I want to thank you for coming to your mat tonight and sharing your practice with me. You have a wonderful evening and rest of the week. Namaste. Namaste. You take your time getting up. Lights. You're welcome.